Now the second type of rain gauge stations what we have is recording rain gauge stations. So this is also called as self-recording, automatic or integrating rain gauges. This type of rain gauge has an automatic mechanical arrangement consisting of a clockwork, a drum with a graph paper fixed around it and a pencil point which draws the mass curve of rainfall. From this mass curve, the depth of rainfall in given time, the rate, the intensity of rainfall at any instant during a storm, time of onset and recession of rainfall can be determined. Okay, so what basically does this mean is in a general, so again for recording we have three types of rain gauge stations which are going to be there, but with respect to that we have something called as rainfall mass curve. Okay, so this rainfall mass curve, yeah, so this mass curve of rainfall which is there. Okay, so this is very important from the point of hydrology. With this particular mass curve you can actually get what is the depth of rainfall, the rate or else the intensity of rainfall, and at what time the rainfall started and what time it stopped. So even such kind of minute intricate details can be actually determined just with the help of mass curve of rainfall. Okay, or else what we call it as rainfall mass curve. So for your further chapters what we are going to have, so this itself is going to make an important section where you are going to say mass curve of rainfall, for example for hydrograph, right? So this is going to be the base for all the further study what we are going to have. Okay, and such kind of mass rainfall mass curve can be got from this recording type of rain gauge stations. Fine. Now apart from that, the gauge is installed on a concrete or a masonry platform 45 centimeters square in the observatory enclosure by the side of an ordinary rain gauge at a distance of 2 to 3 meters from it. The gauge is so installed that the rim of the funnel is horizontal and at a height of exactly 75 centimeters above the ground surface. The self-recording rain gauges is generally used in conjunction with an ordinary rain gauge exposed close by for use as a standard, by means of which the recordings of the recording rain gauge can be checked if necessary adjusted. So what they are trying to say is whenever you think of this may not be true for all the cases, but in typical cases we usually have one non-recording type of rain gauge station side by to that, and then at a distance of let us say 2 to 3 meters from this, then we are going to have this recording type of rain gauge station established. Okay, so whenever we say this rain gauge station established, so why do we need this non-recording is just for the sake of safety and to check the correctness of this particular rain gauge station. So we are going to have this standby as a non-recording type of rain gauge station. So this may not be required because now the conditions have become so much modernized that you can actually calibrate these recording type of rain gauges and you can check actually whether the working of these rain gauge stations are correct or not. So based on that we'll have a lot of improvements with respect to their particular working and calibration. Now apart from that, this again the base of this will be concrete or masonry, right? And it is a 45 square centimeters of observatory which is going to be there. Then the top width of this will be usually 75 centimeters from the ground level. Why this is a bit more than the Siemens type of rain gauge station or the recording non-recording type of rain gauge station? The reason is because here we have a few more instruments, right? So because as you have seen here in the top point, it has this type of rain gauge station has automatic mechanical arrangement consisting of a clockwork, a drum with a graph paper fixed to it, a pencil point. So to accommodate all these additional mechanical features into our rain gauge station, so usually this will be a much larger than the Simon type of rain gauge station. Okay, so that's why the height of this is 75 centimeters, but when I consider the Simon type of rain gauge station, that was only 30 centimeters. So that's why it is a bit above the Simon type or non-recording type of rain gauge station what we are going to have. Okay, so these are nothing but the general points for recording rain gauge stations. So now let us check out individual recording type of rain gauge station in detail. Okay, so the first one is tipping bucket type of rain gauge station. So just check out what all things are available in this. Okay. First, let us consider with respect to the construction of this. Okay, so first we have stand over here. Okay, we have a stand. Okay, and on top of that we have this what I can say, a metal casing. Okay, we have this outside structure which will be usually made up of metal. Okay, and then we have again the receiver, the same thing which was there earlier, and then we have this funnel. Now you can check out the funnel is a bit outwards than the receiver. The reason being what? You don't want any leakage from here. So nothing can enter from outside. Okay, so whatever is being collected from this 30 centimeter diameter, so all the things will be entering over here. And one more difference if I need to say, for a non-recording type of rain gauge, that is Simon's rain gauge station, so the diameter was only 12.5 centimeters here. But whereas now the diameter has increased to 30 centimeters in case of recording type of rain gauge station. So why do we need more is because here we have some mechanical arrangements for the recording of that rainfall. So that's why the quantum of rainfall required for the optimum operation of these mechanical fixtures is required is more. So that's why the diameter usually will be a bit more than the Simon's type of rain gauge station. Now apart from that, again we have this funnel. Okay, so till this receiver and funnel, this diameter and everything, the arrangement is similar to what your Simon type of rain gauge station. So in Simon type, directly after this receiver, usually you have this measuring jar only. Okay, there will not be any this section of working over there. I hope you got that. So directly after the receiver, you usually get this cylinder only. But right now we have something more than that. Okay, let us check out what that particular arrangement is and how we are going to check the rainfall with respect to this. What actually this is nothing but a tipping bucket, what is being indicated over here. So in this tipping bucket, what actually happens, let me just zoom it in a bit and I'll try to show you. In this basically what will happen is you are going to have a section something like this. I'll just try to show it. So that tipping bucket usually have two sections. Okay, this tipping bucket which is shown over here usually have two sections. Okay, two sections within that. Now whenever the this particular funnel is there, right, so I'll just draw that funnel. So sorry, if I draw this funnel over here, okay, so this is its funnel. Fine. Now whenever from the rim this funnel is using and it is allowing the water to drop in, okay, what actually happens here is once this and here usually we have something called as stoppers. Okay, we will have something called as stoppers over here. Okay, right. Now actually what happens whenever this particular rainfall from the receiver it comes to the funnel and it enters over here, usually what happens, this part or section will get filled up first. Once this section gets filled up, the weight of this side will be increased, so that's why it tips on this side. Okay, it tips on this side. So at that point of time what will happen, again I have my stoppers over here. Okay. Now instead of having it in the other way, right now it is going to tip something like this. Sorry. It will be in the other direction. Yeah, it will be something like this now. Okay, now because of this has increased in its weight, so it is going to tip up and this edge is going to come on this side and it is going to stop over there. So something of that sort I have drawn over here. So whenever this tips over here, then your funnel is again fixed at the same position. Okay, I'm not changing the position of the funnel. At that point of time, the water received from the upside will come and falls on the other side, on this side now. So because of that, what will happen? Now the water will fill up on this side. Okay, and whenever the water fills up on this side, again it is going to tip back to the original position. I hope you got that. Again it is going to tip back to the original position what we have. So this is nothing but the tipping action of this particular rain gauge station. So whenever the rainfall occurs continuously, one side usually gets filled up first, and then once it fills up, it is going to tip on one side, then the other side will come in front, so something like this. So that time that is going to get filled up, and once it is filled up again, it will tip back to the original position. So like this, basically it is going to have this tipping action from one side to the another side. It is going to tip continuously whenever the rainfall is occurring. Okay, and now here, as per the standards, each tip of that bucket, so that is the quantity of water that is going to be stored in each section of this tipping, will be 0.25 mm, is nothing but what? 0.25 millimeters. So what you can say is, if you count the number of tipping which is going to occur over here, multiplied by 0.25, you are going to get the actual number of actual quantity of rainfall that has occurred. So imagine, so this has tipped. Okay, I have counted this tip. So to recording device, so whatever this wires they have shown over here, basically these are nothing but the electronic devices where they are going to count the number of tips that have happened. Okay, how many number of times it has tipped up, so those things will be recorded over here. So imagine that number of tippings is 100. Okay, so at that point of time, total rainfall will be what? 100 tippings into each tip is equals to 0.25 mm. So the total rainfall is going to be how much? It is going to be 25 millimeters. Okay, so this is how basically you are going to check out how this tipping bucket is going to work. Okay, fine. So with respect to this, again I'll explain few more things. Now once the water tips from one end or the other end based on the tipping action, ultimately again it is going to come here and join this measuring tube only. You might have asked, again we have already checking up with this recording device with this number of tipping buckets, then why do we need this measuring tube again? That is for the safety of this particular system to work. That is whether to check the tippings, and since it is a mechanical process which is happening, okay, so we need to make sure that the quantum of rainfall that has been collected over here should be is equals to from the calculation what we are getting. Okay, so if the working of this entire section is correct, right, then the quantum of water fixed collected over here should be is equals to the result what we got from the calculation. So that's why, just as a safety measure, they usually have this measuring tube put over there. Okay, so with this will not get the intensity of rainfall or something, but ultimately the quantum of rainfall if collected is same as per the calculations, then we can say whatever the other calculations that we make, that is with respect to the intensity of rainfall, duration of rainfall, so those things can be accommodated over here. Okay, so with respect to that, so this is the basic simple working principle of the tipping bucket type of rain gauge station. Now the second thing that I want to explain over here is what about the intensity of rainfall, because we said we want to know the total quantity of rainfall. One thing that can be measured something like this, just now what I have shown, or you can cross check with the measuring tube which was there. Apart from that, next is intensity of rainfall. We need to check out for that. I'll tell you how to get that intensity of rainfall with this. Next is third one is what is the duration of rainfall. Okay, so three things you need to be there. So for total quantity of rainfall, I guess I have answered your query. So you can have the calculation like this: total number of tippings into 0.25 will give you the total answer. So that will be there. Apart from that, now if you want to check out the intensity of rainfall, okay, so what actually is going to happen, I'll just try to explain it here. Just remove few of the things. Okay, now if you check out here, let us take this. We want intensity to be determined now. So just for the sake of explanation, imagine this is also the total time that I am going to take is let us say 24 hours, that is one day. Okay, so for within this one day, right now we say 100 tippings have occurred and the total amount of rainfall is 25 mm. Now if you want to check out the intensity of rainfall and the duration of rainfall, okay, when that has started, because there may not be a case where the rainfall is occurring throughout this 24 hours, right? So out of this 24 hours, let us say only 6 hours the rainfall might have occurred, because of which this 100 tipping might have occurred. Or there might be two rainfalls, let us say one rainfall of 2 hours that might happen and one more rainfall of let us say 6 hours that might have happened, because of which totally for entire thing I am going to get what, 100 tippings. So at this point of time, first I'll tell you regarding the duration, then I'll go for the intensity. Okay, so now whenever the rainfall is not being collected over here, then it will not tip or top, it is going to remain in its own position. Now whenever the electronic devices are recording, so what all things they will record? Okay, so first thing they will record is regarding the time, at what time this tipping has started or ended. Okay, now next will be number of tippings which are going to be there. Okay, number of tippings that are going to be there. So now at this point of time, imagine for this entire 24 hours to be there, let us say for the first 3 hours out of this 24 hour, let us make a time chart only, that will be better, right? So this is 0 hour and this is 24 hour what we have. Now imagine for the first 3 hours I have not received any rainfall. So this movement of this tipping will not be there, so it is going to be 0. So for the first 3 hours, okay, there will not be any number of tippings which are going to be there, so that's why the automatic recording is going to be 0 for the first 3 hours. Now imagine for the from 3 hours to let us say for 5 hours, okay, for 5 hours I had some rainfall, and because of that rainfall, once the rainfall starts, so this tipping will start, and because of that, imagine from 3 to 5 hours which is going to be there. So usually here it will be minute wise collection, it is going to be there. Okay, so just for the sake of explanation I am taking in terms of hours. Now from 3 to 5 hours, imagine I have let us say some 30 tippings which have occurred. Imagine I have some 30 tippings which have occurred. Okay, so from again 5 hours to let us say some 12 hours, okay, I don't have any rainfall, so again till this 12 hour is there, so again I am going to have my tipping reading as 30 only. It is not going to go more because there is no rainfall. Again it is not going to go 0 also, because already from 3 hours to 5 hours rainfall has occurred, and because of which the number of tipping is 30. So this 30 is going to remain as it is. Now again from this 12 hour to let us say evening 6 o'clock, okay, or 18 hours if I need to say, imagine there is one more rainfall, and because of that rainfall here if I write till this 18 hour, again I have let us say 70 more tippings. Okay, we have 70 more tippings, so at that point of time here it is going to be how much now, 30 plus 70, it is going to be 100 tippings that are going to be observed over here. Now again from 18 to 24 hours, imagine there is no rainfall, so again till 24 hours this tipping is going to remain what, 100 only. I hope you got that. So because of which now whenever you want to assess the duration of rainfall, how many rainfalls have occurred within this 24 hour, what you can do is basically you can check out this table or collection of data through these electronic device, what has been done over there. So in this you can check out for the first 3 hours, that is 0 hours to 3 hours, there was no rainfall, so that's why the number of tipping was 0 only. But from 3 to 5 hours you can check out there was some rainfall, that's why the number of tippings were how much, 30 minus 0, that is going to be 30. Okay, now again from 5 hours to 12 hours, okay, so the amount of rainfall was nil, so that's why that 30 tippings itself remained. But again from 12 hours to 6 hours, 18 hours, there we have again how much, 100 minus 100 minus 30. So here we have how much? 70 tippings of rainfall. Okay, and again from 18 to 24 hours we don't have any rainfall, that's why it has remained 100 only. So now with respect to this, what you can check out is when these number of tippings are being observed, so what is the time duration you can check out here. So with this table you can actually check out the first rainfall was of 2 hours, 3 to 5, and the second rainfall of was for 6 hours, that is 12 to 18 hours, so in a 24-hour period. So this is how you can actually get the duration of rainfall from this tipping bucket type of system. Okay, this is how you can actually get the duration of rainfall from the tipping bucket type of rain gauge station. Now apart from that, one more thing is how you are going to get the intensity now. So for intensity it is quite simple. Now you have already known the amount of time of the rainfall. So for the first section over here, if you want the intensity of rainfall is expressed in what? Millimeters per hour. It is expressed in millimeter per hour. At that point of time, what will happen? Millimeter per hour indicates what? It is nothing but the depth of rainfall which has occurred divided by the duration. So mm divided by hour is indicating what? Mm is indicating depth, hour is indicating the duration. So at this point of time, now if I check out the calculation, what will I get here? Depth is how much for the first 2 hours? It is 30 tippings. So 30 tippings into 0.25 mm will give me some value. Okay, so how much it is going to be? 2.5 for 10, so it is going to be 7.5 mm. So 7.5 mm of rainfall have occurred for this 2 hours. Okay, so the duration of hour is 2 hours. So this 7.5 by 2 will give you what? The intensity of rainfall for the first section of rainfall which has occurred. Now similarly, I can do the same thing for the second section. Now the total amount of rainfall is occurred is how much? 70. So 70 into 2.25 will give you that particular depth of rainfall which has occurred on the numerator, and on bottom you are going to have 6 hours. So this ratio is going to give you what? The intensity of rainfall in terms of millimeters per hour. So this is how you can even calculate the intensity of rainfall with respect to the tipping bucket type of rain gauge station. So whenever we are on the tipping bucket type, I'll explain even the telemetric type. So with respect to that, one additional thing, right now whatever we have discussed in this entire slide, okay, so entire setup is going to remain same. The only difference or addition that is going to be there is for a telemetric type of rain gauge station in that tipping bucket is, so this data collection whatever I have shown is basically connected to a server through satellites. Okay, so whatever the data is collected, so that will be sent to the satellite, and from there that data can be accessed from any point in the office. Okay, so there is no need for a person to go here and check all these. Instead of that, what they can do is they can fix up this what I can say maintenance interval, let us say as 6 months. So only in once in 6 months that person can go to this particular point and check whether the calibration is correct, the amount of water, so whether it has come up is correct, or even if I neglect this, okay, neglect this bottom portion, if this working is correct, the calibration is correct, we can basically check out with that whether when it is telemetric type of rain gauge station. So telemetric basically indicates what? There is no need for a person to go here to collect this data. So directly this data can be sent to a server or through satellite, and from that satellite data can be accessed to anyone from the office. So that is basically what it indicates. Okay, so this is all the things with respect to the tipping bucket type of rain gauge station. So I hope it is clear. Now in the next slide, let us check out a few of the theoretical bits for this tipping bucket. This consists of a cylindrical receiver 30 centimeter diameter with a funnel inside. Okay, just below the funnel, a pair of tipping buckets is pivoted such that when one of the bucket receives a rainfall of 0.25 mm, it tips and empties into the tank below. while the other bucket takes its position and the process is repeated. So as you can check out now, so 20.25 mm per tipping is going to be there. So once it fills up, it is going to empty it in the below tank or the receiver end, while the other bucket takes its position and the process is repeated. So that tipping section or else process is going to repeat as it is. The tipping of the bucket actuates an electric circuit which causes a pen to move on a chart wrapped around a drum which revolves by clock mechanism. This type cannot record snow. Okay, so regarding this pen and paper thing, I'll just explain with respect to the next type of rain gauge station what we had. But even the same procedure can be there even with this tipping. Okay, or we can have this electrical circuit. Okay, where that rainfall data can be recorded. Now, with respect to this, one important bit is this type cannot record snow. Why they are saying is because this entire working principle depends on those tipping bucket. Okay, and here we are saying that one tip is how much is equals to 0.25 mm, which is going to be there. But now whenever if the snowfall is being collected over here, the snow will be a bit lighter than the water. Okay, so that's why the ice always floats on water. The density of ice will be less than the water. So that's why the quantum of ice that has been collected over here, the weight of this will be less. So that's why what will happen, the accurate results may not be there. Okay, the accurate results may not be there. So that's why we do not prefer use of this tipping bucket type of rain gauge station for recording of snow. So that is what it meant by this. Now the second one, what recording type of rain gauge station what we have is what we call it as a weighing bucket rain gauge station. Okay, this is weighing bucket type of rain gauge station. So at this point of time you can see again we have a receiver, then we have this rim, then again we have this funnel, right? So after this funnel, right now we have this catching bucket or a cylinder only. Okay, but now we have some extra parts beneath all this. So first let us again understand this particular construction and then we'll go for the working principle of this. Okay, now again we have this receiver, okay, receiving funnel, we have this rim, and we have this metal cover to protect the inside working of these machines. Okay, then we have catch bucket, that is nothing but the cylinder, and then we have something called as spring balance. Below the bucket we have something called as spring balance, and on below that again we have a connecting mechanism from the spring to this pen. So the pen which is shown over here, basically it has been connected to the spring. So as and when the spring goes down or up, the pen movement will be there respective to that. Okay, then we have something called as a revolving drum chart mounted, and we have clock mechanism. So basically here what it happens is based on the duration of time, so here we can actually set it up. We can set up in such a way that one complete rotation of this drum will take 24 hours. If you want more time, then you can make sure that one complete rotation of this drum is equals to 1 week. Or if you still want more time, one rotation can be 1 month, one rotation can be 6 months, or even one rotation can be 1 year. So based on that particular way in which we are going to set it up, so that is going to tell us regarding at what duration a person needs to come here to collect this data. Okay, if I set this one rotation is equals to 6 months, then I can say that this particular instrument needs to be visited per 6 months to collect the rainfall data collected on this chart directly. Okay, so the chart what we are going to get over here is nothing but the rainfall mass curve, what we have previously discussed. So this is one of the significant charts or graphs that we are going to have in the entire hydrology subject. Okay, so these are the basic what I can say components of this weighing bucket type of rain gauge station. Now the next thing that we are going to have is, let us check out what is the working principle for this. Okay, so for this let us say this is nothing but the receiver. Okay, rainfall occurs. Yeah, so the rainfall occurs from the receiver to this funnel. It is going to enter and it starts collecting in this particular catch bucket. So as and when the water is collected over here, the weight of this bucket will increase. Okay, weight of this bucket will increase. Because of that weight, the spring will get compressed. This particular spring will get compressed because you are putting a weight from the top. And as and when this particular weight is applied over here, this particular spring movement, that is a reduced spring height, because of the load that has been applied from the top, it is converted into the movement of pen. Okay, so based on some electronic circuit and the mechanical actuators basically, so how much quantum of spring has reduced in its length or height, the same quantum of movement of pen is going to be there, so with certain calibration. Okay, so that we are going to understand this with this movement of pen, how much quantity of water has been collected over here. I hope you got that point. Okay, so once that is there, so as and when the water is collected over here, it is going to again pass through the pen and it is going to move up and down. Okay, now whenever this movement is there, again this pen will be connected to this chart. Right now this pen is ending over here. I'll just rub this. Yeah, so this end of this pen basically will be on the chart itself. So you can imagine this extension over there. Okay, your pen nib or point is at this point. Okay, so something like this your pen is going to be. Now from here what will happen is, already we have set up a particular time for this revolving drum. Just for the sake of explanation, imagine again I have taken this time as 24 hours. So I have made sure that one rotation of this drum is equals to how much? 24 hours. Now whenever we have this setup, one rotation is equals to 24 hours, then we need to make sure that this particular pen which is going to be applied over here, this particular pen which is applying over here, then what we can do is, based on the movement of this particular spring, this pen will start to move around in this rotating drum. Okay, so if I try to just enlarge this portion, let us see what I'll get. Imagine this as your drum. Okay, and this is basically a graph sheet. Okay, so these are all your centimeters line in simplest of terms if I need to say. So this is how your graph is there. Okay, now with the mechanism what we have, let us take this purple. Okay, so here I have the weighing bucket and I have spring. Okay, and with this spring again I am connecting to that and I got this pen. Okay, pen is attached to that particular spring, so this is going to be there. Now actually what happens whenever this particular container is empty, whenever this container is empty, your pen will be at the bottommost level. So I'll just even correct this. Okay, imagine I have this particular section of spring. Okay, and again this spring is connected to a pen. Okay. Now as I said, whenever this container is empty, it doesn't has any water in it, so your pen will be pointing to the bottom. Okay, so here you can take it as your origin. So here the coordinates are 0 0. Okay, so this is what your x-axis and this is your y-axis which is going to be there in a graph. Okay, and this graph is rotating, so something like this. So as and when the time moves, so x-axis we have time, in x-axis we have time. So here it is varying from 0 hour to how much? 24 hour for a complete rotation what this graph is going to have. Okay, please try to imagine this. Again I'll repeat, your x-axis is going to be this line, the bottom side of that graph. Your vertical side of that graph will be your y-axis. and on x-axis basically it is time, because the drum is rotating based on the specific time that you are allotting. So that's why your t is going to be your time, that is your x-axis. Then on the y-axis we have cumulative rainfall that has occurred. So we have cumulative rainfall. So again, this may be in terms of millimeters. So imagine right now I will write it as depth of rainfall as millimeters only. So based on the predetermined rainfall data from that place, you can set up this particular thing to be, let us say, 100 centimeters. So it is varying from 0 centimeters at origin to 100 centimeters or 100 millimeters in the topmost portion. So at that point of time, what will happen is, whenever the container is empty, the spring will have its full length, because of which at the pen will be indicating marking at the bottom. So I'll take this green section now. Now this point has been marked at the bottom. Now whenever the water starts to collect in this particular tank, collecting basin, this particular length of the spring has been reduced because of the applied load, because of which what will happen, this pen will start to rise up now. So instead of that, it has gone something like this, instead of bottom, because of the spring mechanism which in which it is connected. So your point has been marked somewhere here. I hope you got that. So as and when the this particular container will start to fill up more and more, the pen will start to move up more and more. Okay, so it is going to start moving up more and more, and once it reaches its complete capacity, okay, based on the calibration, so it is going to be at its topmost point. It is going to be at its topmost point. I hope you got this explanation. So what is happening when this container is empty, the length is more, so that's why this pen is marking at the bottom. As and when the water starts to collect in this container, the spring starts to reduce in its particular length. The same deflection is being transferred through this pen, where it makes it to move in the upward direction. Okay, at that point of time, what will happen, you will get these various points on the graphs. You will get the various points on the graph. So this particular joining of all these, okay, I'll just try to join this. I'll take this. Okay, so if I join all these points together, you can see this yellow section. So this graph itself, you are going to call that as rainfall mass curve. So this is nothing but what? The rainfall mass curve. So again, with respect to this rainfall mass curve, basically you will be coming to know regarding the time of collection of this rainfall, as well as the intensity of rainfall and the further things. Okay, so what I will do is, even in the presentation of rainfall data, we are going to study with respect to this rainfall mass curve. Okay, so that time I'll explain how to get the duration, intensity, as well as the total quantity of rainfall that has occurred, and even I will tell you why this rainfall mass curve is so significant for the hydrological aspects. Okay, so keeping that in mind, now if I need to tell you, so this is the basic working principle. So once this bucket starts to fill up, the spring will get compressed, and because of that compressed spring, the same movement of spring is transferred through the mechanical system to the pen, and that pen is going to write or mark on the rotating drum what we are going to have, and with this rotating drum, ultimately you are going to get a graph something like this. So this is nothing but the rainfall mass curve. So with this rainfall mass curve, you will be able to get all the things. Okay, first is what is the total quantity of rainfall that has occurred, next is the intensity of rainfall, and the third one is what is the duration of rainfall that has occurred in this for collection of rainfall data. So all these things will be accessed just with the help of the rainfall mass curve. Okay, so this is the construction and working principle of weighing bucket type of rain gauge station. So here also again I'll repeat, the rainfall mass curve, this entire curve. Right now what I said, I have just in this slide I have just shown you how this graph is created through these rain gauge stations. Okay, how to read this graph I am going to explain it in the further slides. I hope I am clear. Just now I have explained how these graphs are produced through the rain gauge stations. I have explained that only. How we are going to read this particular graph, I am going to explain it in the further slides. Fine. So let us check out a bit of a theory of explanation for the weighing bucket type of rain gauge station. In this type of rain gauge, when a certain weight of rainfall is collected in a tank which rests on a spring lever balance, it makes a pen to move on a chart wrapped around a clock driven drum. The rotation of the drum sets the time scale while the vertical motion of the pen records the cumulative precipitation. So just now what I have explained, in this type of rain gauge station, when a certain weight of rainfall is collected in the tank, that is in that measuring cylinder, which rests on a spring lever balance, it marks a pen to move on the chart wrapped round a clock driven drum. So again it is that spring is connected to that pen and pen is connected to that clock driven drum which is going to be there, and the rotation of the drum sets the time scale, that is the x-axis is going to become the time scale over there, whereas the vertical motion, that is the y-axis, is going to be the what, the cumulative precipitation that is going to be there. Okay, so this is what your weighing bucket type of rain gauge station is going to be there. And one more important bit over here is with this weighing bucket type, basically you can even measure the snowfall. You can measure the snowfall, but there is a condition. You need to have again I'll tell you, if I have two buckets, okay, and imagine if both the buckets are filled up, then the one in which water is present will weigh more than the one in which the ice is there, or else the snowfall is there, because it is having a lesser density, ice having lesser density, so that's why the total weight that will be applied to the spring, okay, in both the cases, so ice will put less amount of load, whereas water will put more amount of load. I hope you can understand this point. So that's why directly if you try to measure the snowfall from this, it is quite difficult, so you are going to get error. But we can have some arrangements done, that is in this empty bucket itself we can calibrate in such a way that we can put some antifreeze liquid into this. Okay, so this antifreeze liquid what we put, that itself, with that weight itself, this pen is going to mark for the zero in that graph. Okay, try to imagine this. Imagine in this particular container I have put up, let us say, some 20 ml of antifreezing agent. Antifreezing agent is nothing but this is a chemical which converts the ice into liquid. Okay, it is a chemical that converts ice into liquid. So at that point of time what we can do is we can actually make sure that along with the weight of this 20 ml of antifreeze that I have already put into this measuring cylinder, so that itself should show as 0 on this particular graph chart. Okay, initially only I'll calibrate in this way, then once I collect the ice from the receiver, once this ice comes in contact with these antifreeze, automatically it is going to get converted into liquid. So again this liquid will provide the optimum or else the calibrate amount of weight onto the spring, and then the graph is going to be drawn over there. So this is how basically even you can have some small modification where you are going to add some quantity of antifreeze, so that even you can measure the snowfall through this weighing bucket type of rain gauge station. So this is one of the advantages when you compare it with the tipping bucket type of rain gauge stations what we are going to have, right?